Hi, I'm Margaret Ochoa. I'm the Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Specialist with the Colorado School Safety Resource Center. Welcome to April and Child Abuse Prevention Month. Behind me you see some pinwheels for prevention, and you're going to see those all over Colorado this month. They're symbols of whimsy, wonder, and support, all the greatest things about childhood. Unfortunately, for some of Colorado's kids, it's not the case, and it's not what they experience. So I've developed some strategies to help you through how to identify child abuse and what to do in case you see it. Physical abuse can be any unexplained injury for a child, and what separates it from regular wear and tear of childhood is that the injuries are unexplained, or that the story offered to explain the injury really doesn't match the injury itself. It can include soft tissue injury, broken bones, burns, cuts. Anytime you see pattern injuries, as if from a hand slap, or a burn that might be unintentional, that can be physical child abuse. Sexual abuse is anytime anyone contacts a child for the sexual gratification of another person. It's really difficult to identify because sex offenders go to great lengths to keep it secret. It can be things like a child that is having a difficult time sitting down, moving, walking normally. It can include trauma to a child's private parts or their mouth, but most of the time you're not going to see physical injuries related to child sexual abuse, which does, by the way, include sex trafficking. Usually you have to watch for observations of trauma. So when a child regresses in their behavior, they might have nightmares, they might lose control of their bladder or their bowels, or those types of symptoms that would give you an indication that something's wrong. You might need to take that child in for a visit with a pediatrician to figure out what the problem is. Neglect is another type of child abuse, and it's different than poverty. Neglect is when parents are making a choice not to provide the basic necessities for a child. Things like food, clothing, shelter, medical, dental care, educational necessities. So if a parent or a family is in a situation where they can't provide those because they're poor, but they're willing to find resources to access those things, that's not neglect. The last type of abuse is emotional abuse. It occurs in concert with all the types of abuse I've already mentioned, and it can also be a standalone offense if a parent belittles or berates a child to the extent that it impairs that child's ability to develop cognitively or psychologically, emotionally. Then it's time to step in and make a report. It's important to remember that you're not an investigator, you're a reporter. So raise your voice to help a child. You can do that in one of three ways. You can call your local law enforcement agency, you can call your local Department of Child Protection, or you can call the statewide hotline, which was designed for that purpose. That number is 844-CO4-KIDS. Thanks a lot.